I was looking on Google Earth Pro this week, I remembered something extremely important that I guess I just figured that everybody kind of knew about, but I guess they don't. And so I want to go over that, and there is some amazing new information about this. I honestly thought essentially everybody knew about this, that they found Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. Yes, there is people that say, no, it's not. I can say with 100% confidence that in my mind and with the research, it is absolutely Noah's Ark. And it kind of was shocking to me whenever I started going through the old footage. I guess it's not that shocking, but I was going through old news footage of whenever they broke the story and everything, how absolutely disgustingly rude they were to the researchers. Now let me ask you a question. We all kind of understand what kind of people run our countries and whatnot, right? I don't have to say it. So, and who runs the media, but I'll leave that to you to think about. Why would they want us not to think that that's where Noah's Ark is? Or actually, let me ask it this way. If they knew that it was not Noah's Ark, wouldn't they absolutely be thrilled? Wouldn't they be thrilled to go help excavate it, the whole area, and to prove to you Christians, to us Christians, that it's not Noah's Ark? Did you see that happen? Well, some people don't even know what happened. It was, I mean, whenever they first came onto the scene talking about it, like 15 years ago, I guess. But wouldn't you expect that? I mean, I would. That's what I would expect. They would, if they absolutely thought, no way, this is not the Ark, these Christians are nuts, let's prove it to them. But they didn't do that. They mocked the researchers and called them egghead on, like it was so rude. It was absolutely rude. I'm not going to play it because I might play it. Who knows? Just because I mean, it was so crazy. But, you know, that's not what they did. They put it out for a very split second and then shut it down really fast. They didn't want anybody talking about it. No more mainstream talking about it. And even back then, we weren't as inclusive. The media was owned by more than, 6 corporations or 6 people. And so some of the mainstream outlets kind of had more freedom as to what they spoke of. And so I assume that that's why some of them even spoke about it at all. But now that they're essentially owned by 6 people, they definitely don't talk about it. But it's obvious why. They don't want to admit the truth to themselves, or I don't know. I think that's just something they like to hold over people. And, I don't hold it over anybody, and I'm not trying to push it on anybody. I'm going to show you the research, and from what I understand, they just got a permit to start digging over there and excavating. Why can't I talk today? Excavating what is down there, which I think they use Lidar, which is the lasers and stuff to look underground, and it's pretty obvious. And even before that, obviously, we believe through faith, and it's faith alone. But when you have something this huge, like here it is, it's proof. The only thing I just don't understand is why certain Christians don't think that that's where it is. That's a little confusing to me. Now, I know there were some Muslim people that wanted to say that it was on Mount Judah or something like that, and this was just a rock or whatever. That didn't pan out because we have the information now. We have the pictures and everything. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on with it, because maybe you haven't seen it. Let's check it out. Let's go to the location on Google Earth, and then we are going to look at some of the amazing drone footage and pictures that they have so far, and you see for yourself. So here are a few pictures. You can go to arcdiscovery.com and you can find a lot more, but I just found this after I already did my video. Someone did a great video with the Lidar to where you can see the radar and stuff, and so I'm just going to upload the Lidar part on here. He did an amazing job, and I will put a link to his YouTube channel. I don't think he uploads a lot, but y'all enjoy. He does a very great job narrating, so no need to mess that up. But real quick, I'll show you how to get it, to find it on Google Earth Pro. Alright, so it's right here. Oh yeah, actually, I because they kind of hide it, but you put Noah's Ark in the search. Just put Noah's Ark, comma, Turkey, and then press search. This is in Google Earth Pro, and you can look at it with the time slider. You can see the different things with the time slider. It's absolutely amazing. I'm sure there are many. It's kind of weird how Google Earth has it. Like, it's not on there when you're just like looking at the regular map. You see, like, all of this is blocked out. I don't know, it's weird. But just put in Noah's Ark, comma, Turkey, and you can find it right there. Because it's actually marked in the Turkish government as Noah's Ark, 100%. But yet, they don't, you know, like, I don't know. It's weird. Very strange, y'all. Okay, let's look at some pictures from the inside. We can't really look at any on here.
There is an extensive body of evidence supporting the Drupanar formation as being the actual remains of Noah's Ark. If you're unfamiliar with this content, if you've never heard this before, it's highly recommended for you to watch Ron Wyatt's original documentary. I will link in the description his full documentary and also a condensed version. This video provides a very exciting update regarding new research and seeks to dispel the most common arguments attempting to delegitimize the greatest archaeological discovery in human history. This video would not be possible without the work of engineer and geologist John Larson of New Zealand. Please visit noahsarkscans.nz to view this work and check for updates as more are coming out soon. Again, I will link this in the description. They tell us it's a myth, a fairy tale, a kid's story. Almost every scientific writing on Noah's Ark will say it never happened or it was impossible, sometimes making a mockery of people that believe it. Many modern Christians have now conceded to believing it's a metaphorical story. We know the greatest ancient libraries were burned and destroyed, perhaps to destroy the true account of history. But are there surviving references to Noah's Ark outside the Bible? If you search early historical records some 2,000 years ago, you can find numerous writings where Noah's Ark is spoken of, not just in the fact that the story was widely believed, but in the context that people knew where the ship's remains were located and visited the site, interacting with the locals that dwelt there. One example is from the work of Jewish scholar and historian Flavius Josephus in Antiquities of the Jews, where we find, "And the Armenians call this place landing place. Indeed, as the ark was preserved there, its remains are showed by the inhabitants to this day." And further down, "It is said there is still some part of the vessel in Armenia near the mountain of the Cordilleans, and that some people carry off pieces of its bitumen which they use as charms." Please examine these photographs of the Drupal Formation in eastern Turkey, paying close attention to the details that may give you clues on what the object is. Your thoughts will gravitate you towards one of the common beliefs. That is an ancient ship. That is a natural formation in any incline. You can still see the rib indentations of a boat. You can find formations like that everywhere. Many of us are guilty of forming these opinions not based on reviewing research, but based on what we see. But what about the portion of this object we can't see? What lies beneath the ground at the Drupal Formation has remained largely a mystery for the last 40 years, until now. In late 2014, the Turkish government granted permission to allow the site of this buried object to be scanned using the latest deep penetration resistivity ground imaging technique. This scanning technique, which originated from deep oil and mineral exploration, measures the resistance of material scanned beneath the earth at a maximum depth of 38 meters, producing high-definition images for interpretation. This scanning technique has become widely adopted by the field of archaeology, and we are now, in essence, able to electronically excavate this boat-shaped formation without disturbing it. In this image, the red line indicates the ground level and above being the only portion that you could see prior to 2014. If you're of the opinion this is a natural formation, you would expect to see random shapes beneath the surface. If you believe this is an ancient ship, likewise, you would expect to see ship-like features continued below ground. You are now viewing the entire image the scans of John Larson produced in 2014. From the ground level, what previously had been visible was less than 20% of this formation. We now see the boat-like features from above continue into the depths of the hull, showing precisely the shapes and symmetry you would expect to see from an ancient ship. This is not a natural formation. When a resistivity scan shows high electrical resistance, you get the color red, often from an empty cavity. When we have low electrical resistance, a dark blue is produced, often from a mud-filled cavity where the material forming the cavity does not allow water to freely drain away. Therefore, both red and dark blue indicates cavities that could be rooms inside a ship. In this image, a perfectly straight line of these cavities runs from the front of the ship to the rear, and each cavity is appropriate in size to a room. Please note, the bottom edge of these rooms produces the same electrical resistance as the hull material. In other words, the hull appears to be composed of a similar or same material as would be the decking. A scan penetrating deeper into the vessel produced this next image. Again, we see a straight line of rooms indicated from red open cavities. Please note, these are not the same rooms from the previous image, as this scan is from a deeper penetration. Instead, these are different rooms running perfectly parallel to the rooms in the previous image. The bottom edge or decking material which supports these rooms runs across the entire width of the vessel. The same decking material does not extend beyond the hull shape. It is confined to only within the parameters of the ship. This is not a natural formation. The following illustration is redundant to what I just stated about the last scan, but it's worth it. It's an animation of how scanning from the side of the ship and at varying depths produces images of different unique rooms running parallel to one another, extending across the width and also the length of the deck. In its entirety, we are now able to see a boat shape with perfectly parallel lines with some perpendicular lines showing symmetrical and cohesive properties from 3 deck levels, all working in coordination and not extending beyond the parameters of the boat shape. You cannot find these anomalies in nature. This is not a natural formation. Natural formation. For 40 years, this is all we've heard from the challengers. Will the revelations of this new research cause writers to respectfully amend or remove the disparaging articles you read on so many notable websites, even some Christian publications? Shouldn't we question these same sources regarding their character assassination of Ron Wyatt? An in-depth look at the accusations made against this man might be good subject matter. Another video for another day. So yes, it's an ancient ship, but that doesn't mean it's really Noah's Ark, right? Well, it happens to be located nowhere near any body of water on a mountain translated as Doomsday Mountain, in perfect harmony with the biblical size of 300 by 50 by 30 Royal Egyptian cubits, upon the mountains of Ararat, by a town the locals have long called the Village of the Eight, with the largest anchor stones ever discovered. If any of this has sparked an interest, please watch Ron Wyatt's original documentary. I'll link it in the description, along with additional notes that address common concerns or questions about this subject.
The controversy continues to grow, even though the evidence is overwhelming. Some who were once ardent supporters and associates now deny the evidence. So, is it really the Ark?
What we actually have found is physical evidence that this is a boat. Whether or not it's Noah's Ark is up to the people that review the material. That's up to them to decide on that. My personal feeling is that it is Noah's Ark.
In closing, maybe one thing needs clarified. Nobody is saying that a Bible believer must view these discoveries as the real deal and there's somehow a problem if you don't. Many of us just see a great gift being offered in this late hour, the Lord revealing so many things, a confirmation of our faith, an opportunity to step aside for a moment from our modern, progressive way of thinking, removing that veil from our eyes to see truth. Every last word of the Bible is truth. Let us give thanks and glory to this author of truth.
Alright guys, thanks. Y'all have a wonderful night. Like, share, and subscribe if you would like to help support my channel. Maybe send me over there. I would love to. We could do we could do a group thing. Y'all, that would be so much fun. Could you imagine? I'd have to fly into Turkey because I'm not sure they would let me into Israel. Just saying. I've said some things on here that might get me pushed out. But, you know, whatever. Anyway, all the information and the coordinates will be in the first pinned comments. Y'all have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.